We're picking our very favorite games of 2024.
In this episode of Little Big Thumbs.
Welcome to Little Big Thumbs, a channel that's all about finding great games that are equally fun for little players and big players. My name is JP.
And I'm Milo.
And in this video, as I said in the beginning, we're picking our top games of 2024. And the structure of this video is as such. Over the past year, every quarter, we have taken some time to do a quarterly roundup covering 3 months of the year, discussing our board game stats, our most played games, and our favorite game of the quarter. Mm-hmm. So after 4 quarters of these videos, we've got 8 nominees for our game of the year, and we're going to kind of bring them to the podium and discuss which ones are still sticking around on our tables as our favorites as we head into 2025.
Yes, I'm very excited. We're going to have a Royal Rumble, if you will.
Why don't we just get to these nominees? Let's not waste any time. Milo, what was your top pick from the first quarter of 2024?
That was MLEM, which is a push your luck game where you are cats in space, essentially. It's a dice rolling press your luck game specifically.
Amazing. And my first quarter pick was the Kids Chronicles, The Old Oak Prophecy. This is a interactive game that involves both the tabletop and technology, like an app-driven type of game, where you are going through a story, you're trying to solve a mystery, you're using cards and QR codes to try to talk to characters and solve a riddle and get to the end of the story together. And the reason it's on the list for me is because of how much fun I had with my family playing through this whole campaign together.
I didn't mention why mine was a favorite for me, but I love press your luck games, and it was the first I had played in a while that I felt was really different. So that's what stuck out.
Amazing. All right, let's move on to the second quarter of the year. Your top game was?
Another press your luck game.
Okay.
It was Incan Gold.
Right. That game from like 2002 or something?
It was re-released last year. That's why it sort of like popped on my radar again.
Right.
But another press your luck game, although this one is involving cards and not dice. Basically, if for those of you who don't know already, because this game is so old, it's you're explorers exploring different like tombs and caves, and there are hazards that can pop out at you, like bats or spiders or mummies or whatever the case may be. And basically you can leave early or keep going and possibly get like more treasure, more valuable stuff. But be careful, because you might lose it all.
All right. My top pick for the second quarter of the year was Skyrise. This is a reworking of Metropolis created by Roxley Games. This is one of the most stunning productions I think I've ever seen. It's a spatial auction game where you're placing buildings literally to try to control the auction and control the board at the same time. It's just such a wonderfully innovative mechanic that was integrated in a fresh way in Skyrise. So much fun, so memorable, a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of just, oh wow, this is so great. That's why it was my pick for the second quarter of the year. And now, moving on to the third quarter of 2024.
The third quarter, my favorite game was Santa's Workshop, which is a worker placement game where you are working in Santa's workshop. You're, doing all sorts of different things. You can like feed the reindeer, you can put decorations on a Christmas tree, you can make presents. There's a whole bunch of stuff, but the theme was so strong that's why it made it into the top pick for the third quarter for me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. My third quarter pick was Umbrella from Pandasaurus Games. And this one is a game, it's a puzzle game where you're pushing like sliding disc umbrella, like decorated discs onto a board, trying to find particular patterns to make happen. A little bit of take that with the way the boards connected to other players provide interactions, and the way the puzzle cards, the solution cards can be passed around the board. This is on the list for me because it played so well at every player count. Everyone I played this with had a great time, and we just kept wanting to come back to it over and over again. umbrella. And that brings us to the fourth quarter.
Yes, the fourth quarter, which if you've seen our most recent video, that's what we just talked about. So mine was Harvest, which is another worker placement.
Right.
Kind of funny that the first two quarter games for me were Press Your Luck and the last two were worker placements, but it's, you are animals, you and your friends, and you're planting seeds, growing these crops, and then obviously harvesting them for points. So it was cute and so silly. I don't think it's supposed to be a silly game, but me and my friends made it a silly game. So that's one of the reasons it's in my top games for the last quarter.
Amazing. Love a good silly game. And my fourth quarter pick was Cafe Baras from Kids Table Board Gaming. This is on the list because it's so easy to jump into, but yet there's all sorts of crunchy and interesting decisions that are crammed into really like maybe a 30 or 45 minute time frame. Super fun to play, gorgeous to look at. We love everything Kids Table Board Gaming does, and so it was not a surprise that one of their games wound up on my top games of the year list. So that's it. Those are the 8 nominees for our board game of the year. And before we reveal our picks, let's discuss a little bit about our reasons, our criteria for what makes the top game of the year. Of these great games that we've all played, what makes a game stand the test of time to put your like game of the year stamp on it, Milo?
Yeah, for sure. I think the number one criteria for me would be how excited I would be to play it again. Because obviously a game might make a big impression the first time you play it. But is it going to be just as exciting, the second time, the 5th time, the 100th time?
Yeah.
Who knows? So that would be one of the major criteria.
Amazing. All right. And for me, I think very much the same. That urge to play it again and again, that itch to continue playing it a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, seeing it as a game that is a permanent fixture in our game collections. That's the key reason. And also like suitability for playing with a different variety of people. For me, being able to play with my kids is obviously going to be a key component because those are my most frequent gaming buddies. And so that's it. So, Milo, I think it's time now. We've got our favorite games. Why don't we do runners up? So,
all right.
All right. Do you have a runner up for 2024?
I do.
Okay.
So this might surprise you, but it's actually not on our list, our top 8 of last year.
What?
Yes, so I'm going to bend the rules a little bit, and the reason this game isn't part of our top 8 list is because it was the runner-up for my favorite game of Q3.
Okay.
So this game it's called Botany,
Okay.
and I played it at Supernova in September, and I actually played it twice that weekend. It was so good. Okay, sorry. I'm at a loss for words just thinking about it. It's a game where it takes place in the Victorian era. You are botanists that go adventuring and exploring out in the world to sort of gain fame from coming back with these extravagant flowers that don't exist in England yet. And I think there's like many, many reasons why I like it so much, but it is a silly game. A second ago, I was talking about Harvest and how it's not supposed to be a silly game, but despite Botany being like a very serious in terms of like gameplay, it's like quite lengthy, there's a lot of stuff going on. Despite all of that, there are cards that are quite humorous in this game, and that's something that I really loved. You can have like animals that you encounter along the way, and like they can stick with you and you can like gain benefits from them. I remember I pulled one card and it was something about how like I was out to sea with my crew and I got incredibly seasick during the journey. And so it creates a story of sorts as you're like adventuring out from England and collecting all of these flowers and then going back and showing them to all of your people, and you gain points based on, I don't know, many different things. But there was just so much to it. It was so fun, and I was also like watching Bridgerton at the time, and so we I feel like at least one of the games that I played of it, we were like doing accents at one point during it. It was so silly with the event cards that were coming up. It was great. It was fun. So
Right.
that is my honorable mention.
Wow. I can't believe you broke the rules, Milo.
Sorry.
Grrr. All right. So, but this does not necessarily sound like it is a game that younger players are going to be able to jump
No.
into. Okay. Okay. So, note for that. If your family watching botany, you might want to wait till the kids are a little bit older to jump into that one. My runner up was your pick from the first quarter. That's MLEM.
Oh.
MLEM, the space agency game, the cats going into space, the dice rolling, press your luck game. I'll tell you, so we've got this collection of games here behind us, and that's the bulk of our game collection here. But we've got a small game shelf upstairs in our living room, and those are kind of the games that when I want to lure my kids into playing games, I put games up there so that it's in kind of our consciousness, and they'll pick from those. And MLEM has never left that shelf the entire year.
Ooh, interesting.
It has been in that like, is there a game that we want to play that's fun? And I mean, cats. My younger child is practically the embodiment of a cat herself.
It's true.
And so MLEM is so fun. It's just a delight to play, to look at, to touch. Everything about it is just a tremendous game. And so, when I hadn't played it at the time that you brought it out as your top pick of Q1, and then I played it, 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 and so such a tremendous game. Not my absolute favorite game of the year, but so darn close.
Okay. I'm honored. I'm thrilled, even. Lem is a great game.
There you go. Good work. And now, here it is, Milo. The moment of truth. Drum roll. What is your game of the year for 2024?
My favorite game is Santa's Workshop.
Ah.
Big surprise? Question mark?
Well, when you said Q3, you're like runner-up for Q3. I was like, oh, what was the winner of
True.
Q3?
Okay, fair. Okay, talking about my top criteria is like, would I want to play this again and again and again? And the answer is yes. We just had Christmas. It's my favorite time of year. And Santa's Workshop, just the theme is so strong. It encapsulates like the feeling of Christmas. And I want to have that feeling with me all the time. A lot of people, like start thinking about Christmas like mid to late November or even like some early December. But I love Christmas so much. I want it to be with me all the time. And I really feel like when I played Santa's Workshop, I was like, oh, perfect. It feels like Christmas time right now. It felt magical. It felt magical, and I would love to play it again. The theme was so strong that it just like completely like submerged me. And even though I was at Supernova Game Fest where there was like dozens of people in this room, and it was a pretty loud day that we played it. There was a lot going on, but like I wasn't anywhere but that board and thinking about Christmas. It's almost like I could hear, the sleigh bells in my head. I was like so honed in on what was going on. It was, yeah, I'm going to say it was magical again. So that was my top pick without a doubt.
That's delightful. It's delightful. I'm going to say, I've said it a few times at the channel, but we received a review copy of Santa's Workshop, and it had missing components, and I had to send it back to Elf Creek Games. And I'm just so frustrated that I have not had the chance to play this game. But it's your game of the year, and so now we absolutely have to find a time to play it in 2025.
We will.
Fantastic. Congratulations, Elf Creek Games, for making Milo's favorite game of the year. And now is my turn. And so my favorite game of 2024 was Umbrella from Pandasaurus Games. And the reason for it is it's a game that I played over and over again. I played it at all the player counts. Every single person I played it with had a wonderful time. I had it in my game bag nearly everywhere I went for much of the year after it arrived. And just such a wonderfully interactive puzzle. Sometimes puzzle games are very much like I'm playing my own game and it doesn't impact what anybody else is doing. And that's not the case here. Really just a lovely game to look at, to touch, to feel, to play. Everything about it just hit me in the right place. And for me, most of the time, games that are really supremely thematic are games that are going to kind of stand the test of time for me. That's not necessarily the case here. The umbrellas, of course, being in the busy New York City intersection with the umbrellas in the air, it's picturesque, but it's not necessarily like deeply thematic. But the gameplay is what makes this game so wonderful. It's a game that my kids want to play. It's the game that any of my friends would be keen to play. It's quick to play. We can play in 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. And just a delight, an absolute delight. And so Umbrella is a game that I'm going to be coming back to over and over again. And that's why it is my game of the year for 2024.
I can't say that I'm surprised. I think that it is a game that meets all of the best worlds for you, like kids, adults, the amount of time it takes. So it's a great game, and I'm so glad that you chose it.
Great. And when I'm excited about a game, I do make sure people know about it, not just on camera, but in my life. And I think Umbrella is one of those games that I kind of had I was like patient zero for spreading the love of Umbrella to a lot of folks in the Halifax area.
I agree.
Gaming community.
Yeah. I remember you came into the cafe, I want to say at least 2 or 3 times, and I watched you play it with people.
Yeah.
And I hadn't played it at that point, but my coworkers started talking about the game after playing it with you, and then those coworkers played it with other people, and so everyone was talking about this game that I hadn't played yet. So you were definitely patient zero for Umbrella. But we did eventually play together, and it was so much fun. I can't say that I've played many games like it. The puzzliness, but it was the concept was so simple. There was a lot to sort of think about in terms of what moves to make when, but the concept of how to play, the rules themselves, uncomplicated, and I loved that.
Amazing. Fantastic. All right. So those are our games of the year. Santa's Workshop, Umbrella. Our question for you now is number 1, have you played either of our favorite games of the year? If so, let us know about it. And otherwise, let us know what your favorite game of the year was. Let us know in the comments. We want to hear all about it. We want to play the games that you love, because there are so many games that come through people's game tables throughout the year, and there are so many that we wind up missing. So we want to hear about your favorites as well. And that's going to be it for this video. That's going to be it for our 2024 coverage. And then it's full steam ahead to 2025. And our board gaming challenge for 2025 is going to be for us the lofty goal of playing a great deal of variety of games. Setting the goal of playing 500 different games over the course of 2025. I'm going to be honest, I'm not optimistic that I'm going to hit that number, but it's nice to aim at a ridiculously high number and then see how close to the sun we can actually get.
We'll see. I am excited.
Absolutely. All right, so thank you for watching this video. Thank you for sticking with us all throughout 2024, and hopefully you're going to be continuing with us in 2025. And until then, whether you've got little players
or big players,
make sure that you keep playing games
that make your thumbs go way up. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.